You know, I mean, how is it the Harvard Corporation, like I told you, Harvard Corporation knew about her plagiarism all the way back in October. But they're trying to cover it because either they made a boo-boo or there's someone is pushing her for it, so they just cover it up for her.
Well,
but you know, nowadays it's so easy to check someone's thesis for plagiarism. I can check her myself. You know, I mean, it's so easy to be found. It's hard to believe that Harvard is trying to cover it up for her. You know, because it's just too easy. So what's the story?
She probably has to make the corrections on her Ph.D. But she'll end up being a faculty member, maybe dean, I don't know. But the question is now, who's going to be in the running for the president of Harvard?
Well, now they have this Provoter or something.
Provo.
Who is it? Provo, yeah. She's been in Harvard for 12 years, and he's a professor of economics or something, and he's going to be the interim, huh?
Guy? It's a
a white dude.
A white dude.
A white dude and a white standard Harvard dude, and until they say they find someone new in due course. I mean, I just think it's so stupid. It's not really Claudine Gay's fault. She's just following whatever Harvard wants her to do.
I find it odd that she resigns on the same day that the Epstein list is released.
The what?
The Epstein list is released.
Oh shit! Oh god!
So this causes smoke.
The list is like released. Oh.
Yeah, it was released today. So this is causing a kind of like smoke screen.
Oh. I thought she resigned today because everyone is on winter break. So that's what they're saying. That's why they say that Harvard campus is really quiet. You know, because everybody's on winter break.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, it's
timing.
The whole BLM movement is going to get upset, thinking, "Well, you took down a black woman."
Even they can't save her. Even they can't save her because she fucking look. If she did not plagiarize, if she fixed her if she fixed her boo boo 5 years ago, she knew she boo boo and she didn't fix it. That's her stupid black problem. You see,
I think
laziness took over.
The DEI mentality on the board of overseers, they didn't realize that the blowback they were going to get in terms of donations. And this Bill Ackman had, they thought he just had a lot of bark and no bite. But the thing was he had a lot of bite.
Yeah. Well, what I heard is that it seems like the makeup of the Harvard's donations is actually made up by a lot of conservatives.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't.
That was when I was reading about the article about the Harvard Corporation, and then they have a huge $15 billion endowment. And then I heard from some other place that I think from you told me that Harvard is not doing very well with their portfolio or something.
Yeah, the portfolio is subpar right now.
Yeah, I think somewhere they also mentioned that some other schools are doing better and Harvard is not. Like, what are you doing with all this money? What are you going to start a war or something?
Well,
what are you going to do with all this money?
If you do the math on it, all right, and I'm going to do the calculation right now in real time here. Okay. Approximately, I think the tuition for the undergrad is about $65,000.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
And times that by 4. So the education is $260,000 times 1,900, and it's around 1,950 seats.
Okay.
All right, so that's assuming no scholarship, no, right. So over a 4-year period, if everyone was paying full tuition, it's $507 million of tuition. So $500 million every 4 years.
Wow.
So you're so if you're just talking about per year issue, it's 126, almost 127 million dollars lost. But 126 million compared to a $50 billion portfolio, right? It's
well, you
the
have
students
to be
should
able
be
to
given a major
income
discount
must cover
on their
the expenses. Well, whatever 50 billion make, let's say this year, I know last year S&P was 4%, right? Philadelphia was, I think, 6%. Philadelphia, because that's where a lot of chips are traded and all that. So, but at least S&P last year performed 4% overall. So if 50 billion, let's give it an average of 3%, that's like,
well, here's
what?
the problem. They do about 8%. I've seen numbers like 7, 8, 12%. But the problem is they have a lot of alt investments and international investments, and those parts of the portfolio have been hurting.
Like China?
Well, but they have a lot of alternative investments. So there's it's like a hedge fund. It can rapidly return a lot, or it could lose a lot.
Well. The thing is, S&P is 4%. So if you just as dumb as it doesn't take an economist to know you should be you can safely make 4% just by doing S&P and nothing else.
That would generate per year
at least $150
billion. $2 billion.
$2 billion, yeah.
$2 billion a year.
And that will already cover the tuition,
Right.
Right. Not only that, I think they make the tuition so expensive. It's because the fact that they want to weed out. It's a classist. They want to weed out all the poor students.
You would still make even if you gave tuition to all the students. If you gave paid tuition every year to the college students, assuming $65,000 per year for tuition and room and board.
If you just do 3%,
they would still make on the portfolio $1.9 billion.
So maybe somebody's stealing money out of the 50 billion fund. That's why they're not doing very
well. But you
well.
also got to remember you have to also remember, and I don't know this, they're paying for the operation costs of the university.
Yeah, that's why I say
that. So I don't know how much the operational costs are. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that it's in hundreds of millions.
For a Division I school, if you just look at, usually they segregated by Division I school. Division I school is always the most expensive because the sports spend a lot of money, the arenas, the athletes, the expensive library and all that.
So it's very possible that it's very possible that their operational expenditures annually, fixed and variable, average more than $1 billion. So their portfolio, they have to make more than 4%.
Yeah, that's
the
they
problem, and that's why they do these. That's why they carve out a certain percentage of the portfolio in alt investments.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
get alpha.
The thing is, in my theory, okay, you're a school. You're not supposed to really fucking make money like a bank. You're not a bank. You're not a hedge fund. You're a school, a place of learning.
Not Harvard.
You should if you make some money out of the students, that's great. But in my view, in my view, if you really talk about diversity, equity, and all that shit, it should break even. Your income, your expense and income should be net zero. You should not make money out of students. That is wrong. There's a huge scandal in Taiwan right now where this presidential candidate, he has a building renting out to university students, and he's charging a lot of rent for each of the students, like $600 US dollar a month, which in Taiwan is very high. But skip the details and everything. They were all saying that social justice, the right to live, inequality, you're charging expenses so much because it's a great location. Unfortunately, the school is like in the top of the mountain. It's a beautiful school. So if you want to live in a cheaper place, you're going to have to climb the mountain every day. So that's why he charged so expensive, because the dorm is right next to the school. So then there's a lot of people saying that there's no social justice in that. You should not make money. You should not fleece the sheep. You should not make money out of students. And they were saying that it's actually not the students, the parents who have to pay for these, blood money to enrich these people. This presidential candidate, which is a real shame. Like, you one hand talk about social justice, the right to dwelling, the right to all that. And on the other hand, you're charging $600 per student in a very small room. The room is so fucking small. It's not even funny. It's like, that's it. So a lot of people will start saying that, how can you make money out of students? The same thing could go for Harvard. Like, how much money is enough for you? Like, if you lose $2 billion out of $50 billion, so what? You're not a country. A country like, if American government lost a lot of money, that means they cannot pay for a lot of infrastructure, so they cannot pay for. But the $50 billion that Harvard has, it's all extra money.
See, my take is
extra money.
My take is that I think that it was on the table to threaten Harvard with taxing the corporation, take away their tax status.
Yeah, I think the article mentioned something about that.
I think Congress was threatening.
Yeah,
and that's what pushed it over.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, I don't think Harvard gives a damn about. I think they're worried about the audit, but they're more worried about losing their tax benefits.
Yes.
Right. Their tax. They're, because they're a private corporation. They're a non-profit corporation, but it's private, so they're not taxed.
They're not. I tell you, they're not. Remember, I was telling you, if they go into the angle of financial crime, I tell you, they have Claudine Gay step down. It's a big sign that they are yielding. They're willing. They're saying sorry. Please be soft on us. Please be gentle on me. And you know what I'm saying? That to have Claudine Gay step down. That's what they're saying to the Congression. Because I told you they've never been through an audit. They don't know how severe. This lady. The lady who was asking a lot of questions with Claudine Gay during the hearing. She says, it doesn't matter Claudine Gay. She after the Claudine Gay resigned, she said it doesn't matter if she resigned or not. The audit, the investigation is going to continue on. I tell you, Harvard is shedding in their pants right now. It's like, fuck, I mean, they found some financial crime. If they received donors from Iran or China or any entities that they're not supposed to. That's a financial crime. They could this penalty for that. They will freeze that money as well, and then it could be taxation. There could be more taxation saying that, well, you made all this money and is it because nonprofit, the whole idea of the nonprofit is that in the end of the day, right, taxation wise, your expense and income has to be net zero. That's what I know about nonprofit.
No.
You understand what I mean?
No. You can be net profit. You can be net positive in a nonprofit, but there are certain standards in that nonprofit in terms of the cost of the administration. It's usually about 15% of revenues. But but the thing is, you can be profitable. You can be a profitable nonprofit. The thing is, it depends on what kind of nonprofit it is. You'll have more regulation if you're tied to government funding. There's some nonprofits that aren't tied to government funding, and they go right into the private sector and get donations, through philanthropy.
That's why people were talking about. I was watching this. She runs the first successful show on the royal family, and she was talking. She's an old lady, and she's very smart because she used to be in the legal something. She she's also a writer. So she was talking about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's quote unquote nonprofit. And then she said, actually, everyone is wrong. They are not a nonprofit. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Archwell. She says it's actually called a foundation. Mm-hmm. And what is the difference between nonprofit and a foundation? It's the fact that the foundation always has a political agenda. And then she says, look, if you look at how they distribute their money, they distribute money to trans organization or gender something, organization, that type of organization, which basically a lot of them would censor freedom of speech. In the end of the day, if you look at the whole of their how they spend their money, the foundation. That's why she was saying that, the rumor was true that when she wanted that, the California senator seat, it wasn't kidding. And they were pulling strings with the Clintons and the Obamas. That's also true. Unfortunately, they ignore her, but still, her foundation can accept donations, and the taxation is very similar to a nonprofit.
Well, there's no taxation. You're tax exempt if you're a qualified, registered nonprofit or foundation that's nonprofit. That falls into a nonprofit status. But you can be profitable and be a nonprofit. The issue is that. It's really about tax exemption or not. If they get tax exemption, and the thing is that there are some standards in terms of administration costs as ratios to the overall revenue. It's around 10 to 15%. So, for every dollar.
But the problem is, if you're running a nonprofit, my idea is that your income should come from donations. Okay, mainly come from donations, not from your investments, right? Otherwise, it's an investment fund. It's a private equity fund,
right?
Because
there's a loophole in the law, and that's what Harvard's playing around with.
I'm going to tell
you, the whole idea is that the whole idea for the corporation is to grow the power. Prestige, and the size of the portfolio, and that's their goal. That's their mission. Now the overseers, is kind of like one step below the corporation, and they're overseeing the university operations.
I'm going to tell you something.
Like the henchmen.
I'm going to tell you something. Remember that lady in Congress who was asking Claudine Gay? So she said after Claudine Gay resigned, she says, we don't stop here. We want to find the rot that's rotting our country's highest,
it's the
education. So basically,
DEI.
listen to it. Basically, she's saying some of the people from Harvard Corporation might have to step down. She's saying in order to really change the genetics of this Harvard to get the rot out, that means these oldies must be gone. Same people cannot be in charge of the same thing if they did things wrong.
Yeah, the ones that were shepherding Claudine Gay in the corporation and at the board of overseers, they're not that old. They're not that old.
No, it's by association.
They're in their late 50s.
You put the seal of approval on Claudine Gay, right? And now you're going to have to be investigated because you knew about her plagiarism all the way back in October. You see, when you piece up the stories, you guys knew about it and you let her go. You covered it up for her. You didn't, and you tell her, maybe you were telling her to correct it, but she's not really correcting it.
Well,
she's more focused on anti-Semitism. She's more focused on, and also there was a lot of intimidation. They say that Claudine Gay called every single one of her faculty to be in her office alone. I tell you, it's tainted with...
Wait, what are you talking about?
With salt. Yeah, Claudine Gay, with evidence show that Claudine Gay, in order to quote-unquote garner support or something, called each and every one of her faculty to her office.
I didn't know that.
And to make sure that they're going to be on her side.
How do you know this?
There were intimidation.
Where did you hear this from?
It's from the article that I read, I think.
Oh, okay. So
it's from that article. They were talking about Harvard, the mysterious Harvard Corporation, and so basically, she's doing their dirty laundry.
So this was in New York. This was in the New York Times or the Wall Street.
In the New York Times. In New York Times, I think it was on Sunday for New Year's, and I asked her, to show me the article, but it was talking about the Harvard. So basically, she is just an unfortunate child, of Harvard Corporation. I mean, I just feel like from what I see from now, it's running by a whole bunch of really idiotic people. Just, how sometimes smart people are really dumb, they lost that sense of reasoning, just basic reasoning. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. You can't just cover like that. It's sometimes things are very simple. If you just do your 1, 2, 3, you will be fine.
See,
sometimes smart people want to do 1, 3, 5, 9, 11.
I want to know what the Harvard Club in New York's going to do with the portrait that's in the lobby. They're going to have to take it down.
Well,
they can't keep it up.
They're taking her down at this moment. I bet you that especially they're gonna take her. They probably took her down yesterday.
I think they're gonna stamp it a big red. They're gonna stamp it a big red stamp on it saying denied,
resigned. And she's the only second Harvard president ever in the whole entire freaking history that resigned.
Larry Summers was fired, I thought.
Yeah, they mentioned another name that I have no idea of, but
I thought Larry Summers was fired, not resigned.
They didn't. Well, from the article I read, they didn't say who was the other one, but I don't think it's Larry Summers. I wouldn't consider that as a resign. I would consider that as a, as a firing or something.
I personally think getting rid of Claudine Gay was the best thing for the country and for Harvard, because she represents failing forward through DEI practices. And she, not only did she benefit from it, she was promoting this garbage in the university.
No, I'm going to tell you something. I know her trajectory. I know, if you think of her as a celebrity, they're promoting her as some sort of celebrity. Her trajectory is not Harvard president. Her ending, her ultimate goal is government. She's probably going to be in the next Senate, next vice president.
No way. I think her career's over.
No.
I think her career is over. If she wanted to play smart, she would just be quiet and just be a dean.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if this whole thing did not blow up, first of all, they all being very dumb. They made.
I think her trajectory was going to be on the board of overseers.
No, because Obama was behind her, and her trajectory was really going to be in the government. She's going to be some sort of secretary of something, some sort of Senate. This is just, for her to garner up her reputation and her prestige or whatever, something. Somebody is raising her to be the next political star. Wow. That's why when she was testifying, you saw her testifying, she's got that arrogance. Mm-hmm. That she's like bigger than, and because she thinks at that moment she saw her trajectory was going to be secretary of Secretary of State, or maybe some secretary of something, or senator, or maybe House Speaker. That's where they were projecting. Look, I don't think they're pushing her for nothing. I think they're pushing her for the next Obama or something. By the way, is her husband white?
I thought so. Yes.
Oh my God.
No, I think he is.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
And they have one child.
That is a joke.
Yeah.
That is such a joke.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she is. She represents a mentality at Harvard that's hurting the university and hurting the country, and that is anti-God, anti-family, and anti-country.
Right.
And it's about promoting superiority within the minority class.
Right.
They want the minorities to be superior, not equal, superior.
Right. Somebody, and it's the same as what Meghan Markle and Prince Harry is doing. Because if you look at some of their donations, they donate to some really weird groups, of people, and there's a concerted effort here. You want to get Prince Harry, you want to get Claudine Gay, the Harvard president, and some other people, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people who is not happy about this. Why should we censor our freedom of speech? Who are you to tell us, what to say? How could we allow anti-Semitism, to be allowed in school? It just, whoever is behind this is delusional. I tell you, somebody's behind this, and that person is delusional, thinking that they can latch on, this MLB thing. A lot of people were latching on this.
BLM.
Sorry, BLM. A lot of people were latching on this BLM thing as a momentum for their career, and whatever political agenda that they wanted to do, and they have been very successful until they just fail. the person who organizes when he died, the guy, he died, right, and sparked this Black Lives Matter. The organizer, the founder of the Black Lives Movement, was found cheating and taking money out of the foundation, millions of dollars out of the foundation, and it's just a fall from grace. But because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, it also promoted other movements in America, like transgender rights and taking
Well, this is why I think that this whole anti-Israeli movement that's going on, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas movement, is really a BLM movement in disguise.
The what?
It's a BLM movement in disguise.
Okay. Because it's about minority.
Yeah. It's all about, I'll tell you, this whole thing is about oppressor and the oppressed and pushing reparations. And who are going to be the benefactors of reparations? Black people. And they're already looking into it in New York.
They're not smart enough to they're just not smart enough. I'm sorry. I mean,
well,
the genetics is not. It's not.
I don't know. I mean, I have seen smart.
I agree with you.
I have seen smart minorities, smart blacks, but but I've also seen the bottom of the barrel too. I've seen the upper crust in academia that are minority, that happen to be black too, and they're they're smart, but there are also a lot of people that just can't pull up their pants, and this is the problem: is that you got too many people that want to be a rapper or want to be a basketball star, and they feel as though they need to be a hoodlum.
You see, a lot of these black people, because the Black Lives Movement wanted to move up with the momentum, right? But they all made the same mistake as Claudine Gay. They forgot to wipe their ass. You plagiarized. You want to move up? Sure. I'm not going to fault anyone who wants to move up. Not even Claudine Gay. Remember, I was telling you, why should she? I wouldn't give up. I moved up to president of fucking Harvard. Why should I quit? So I won't fault them for that. It's just, these people are so dumb. They think they can just cover their ass and they can just move on because they think that everyone is afraid of them now. Everyone is afraid to point fingers at them because you know what? They got the fucking.
No, you're right. There's a hubris.
Listen. They got the race car. They got the race bait. That's what everybody's talking about right now, about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, because the first thing they do is the race car with Oprah about royal family. So everybody's pulling the race card now. And you know what? You want to pull the race card? Fine. But then you don't wipe your ass. You just look at your plagiarism. Just look at your thesis, and all this shit comes up. You call yourself whatever you call yourself. You're the faculty at dean at Harvard. But then you have plagiarism. How the fuck can normal people justify that? Just normal, decent people like you and me. How do you justify it? How do you explain it to the general public that, yeah, our president plagiarized, but we forgive her. It's okay because she's black. Can you actually say that? No. You have to apply the same standard. That's what the congressional, the lady from the Congress, she was saying, we must apply the same, academic, rule to everyone, not single out black people. It's just so you're black, you can plagiarize 20 times. And if you're white, you can't plagiarize at all.
Well, I just think that I don't think that she should have ever been elevated to the presidentship because her lack of real scholarship.
Exactly. That's why I say somebody's behind it, because they want her to they want to raise her as some sort of celebrity star, and next step for her is political. She's not going to be our president forever. Her next step is, she's still so young. She's gonna be the next something, you know. But
I think you're picking up on something. I think you are picking up on something.
Of course, I watch so much political.
Wait. But the thing is that she's also, there's different types of black women, right? And it's like the Detroit black woman versus the Haitian black woman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She falls in the Haitian black woman. She was born in New York, but her parents were from Haiti. So she's that Haitian black woman, right?
Right.
That's a different style than inner Detroit black woman.
Yeah.
So she had. So there is this. She kind of is a little bit
elite.
There is an Obama-esque feel about her.
I mean, she went to Exeter. She went to Exeter, which is an excellent prep school.
Right. Well, it's the top. I mean, Phillips Exeter is the top. You know, at least today. I don't know back then, but her means shouldn't have been able to get her there. So she's been shepherded somehow, some way, throughout her life. So there's something odd about her parents. You know, the mother of a nurse, a nurse practitioner, and the father of, an Army Corps of Engineers working in Saudi Arabia. She spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and then all of a sudden she's going to Ivy League schools and going to the best boarding school in the country. Just something's not right with her. But there's an Obama-esque feel about her. When you look at her, she kind of looks like Obama in a way. There's that you know what I mean? That Obama black look. You know what I mean? It's not like Detroit inner city black look. You know what I mean? It's totally different. It's totally different. So she's got this. She's got
a shine on her.
Right,
I agree with you.
Right. She has the shine, as you say.
Yeah.
So she could be promoted upward.
Yeah.
Even though she really didn't have the scholastic ability. Or
at least
didn't present her scholastic ability.
Right. And I think that look that she has is being harvesting for many years now. Because first she went to Stanford, but then something happened at Stanford. Nobody knows what happened, and Stanford wouldn't discuss it as well. Then she went to Harvard.
No. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's. I know a little bit about this. So, on Wikipedia. All right. So she got her degree. She ended up getting a BA from Stanford, and and she had a Ph.D. from Harvard.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she's married to, I believe, a white guy. His name's Christopher. Now, my understanding is that she according to Wikipedia, she attended Princeton for a year before transferring to Stanford.
Oh.
Where she studied economics.
Okay. Wow.
So it's very possible that whatever happened in Princeton could have been a plagiarism situation.
Okay. Wow.
She graduated from Exeter, Phillips Exeter Academy in 1988.
Okay.
And then she went to Princeton. So Exeter is in New Hampshire, so she goes to Princeton, which is in where is it? Connecticut? Right. It's in Connecticut, right? Where's Princeton? Princeton's in
either Connecticut or Massachusetts. One of those.
Princeton's in.
No, Princeton is in New Jersey.
Princeton is where?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. That's right, New Jersey, the armpit of America. All right, so.
Princeton first. She got kicked out.
Yeah, and she attended it for 1 year and then left, and went to Stanford, and then.
Okay.
And then eventually, she went to Harvard. So she didn't have a problem at Harvard, or at Stanford. It looks like she had a problem at Princeton.
Well, I think I heard somewhere saying that, her years at the West Coast, like how people go from West Coast all the way back to the East Coast and all that. Because she first at Princeton, right? And then she went to Stanford. It's a huge jump, location wise, all the way from East Coast to West Coast, and then back again to the East Coast. So they were saying that like her life at Stanford
I felt that when she traveled from Princeton to Stanford that she was hiding.
She's hiding?
She was trying to hide.
Oh.
I had this like a psychic feeling that she was trying to hide.
Well,
because honestly, Princeton's a better school. Princeton's a better school than Stanford. Stanford is like Stanford is a techie school, but not in 1988, 1989.
Yeah, Princeton was definitely better than Stanford back then.
So it wasn't like she was leaving the school to go to a better school. I mean, like...
She was trying to hide, yes, you're right, because she went to West Coast and nobody knows her.
Mm-hmm. Like Donald Trump, he went to Fordham for, I believe, 2 semesters and then transferred to Penn. UPenn.
Well, he did something.
No, but the point I'm making is that he transferred upward, not downward.
Oh, yes. That's true. Yeah, that's the proper trajectory. I mean, that's the...
Something doesn't seem right with her. Something about her, even early on, and I'll tell you, I think it goes all the way back to when her family was in Saudi Arabia.
She grew up in Saudi Arabia, right? And then she came back.
Right. Yeah.
But her father was in the army, so you can't really. Can you fault her on that?
No. But what I'm saying is there's something weird about how does a student. I mean, every Army Corps of Engineer can get their kid into Exeter. I doubt it.
Well, maybe her father knows some secrets, some stuff. Well,
there's something weird. There's just something weird about it. It's something weird about it. Parents are Haitian.
Well, her what?
Parents are Haitian.
Right.
In the 1970s. I would have a feeling that in America, I mean, there was still, quite a bit of racism that was going on in the 70s. That's true. Something doesn't make sense. True. Going right to the top, boarding school.
I bet she's the only black student at Exeter.
I don't know. Something's weird about it. Something's weird about it. Now, maybe, she was given some sort of, special scholarship. But, you would just think that she would have gone to a lower tier, maybe the top 10, but not the top.
I mean, the fact of the matter is she really that smart? Like, to be at Princeton and Stanford that's why people question her academics. She's not a very good academia anyway.
She's not an original thinker. But she is, I think, a good administrator. I think the part of the reason why the overseers wanted her on, even though someone was recommending her that was from Obama's administration.
Oh,
I think it's that she saved so much money for Harvard when FAS was in the deficit.
When I was reading the article, this I have to tell you. When I was reading the article about the Harvard Corporation, how they found Claudine Gay, okay, they say it was the fastest history of Harvard, how fast they found the new president in 5 months. Okay, and they say that in 5 months, they went to 600 candidates. 600 candidates in 5 months. And we're not talking about student candidates. We're talking about everyone is very outstanding, right? Right. So at the rate They're basically just going through the papers and stamp on it and don't even look at it. Because if you think about the timing, 5 months.
That's 120 candidates a month. That's 120 candidates a month. Divide that by 4. Okay. That's 30 a week. And let's say they have a 5-day work week. That's 6 interviews. That's 6 interviews.
No,
every day.
They don't even interview them. No. They just flip through them. They check. They sign their name without reading any of them. They already know they're gonna get Claudine Gay. Somebody already told them it's gonna be her. Somebody told them it's gonna be her. And if it was from the Obamas or Black Lives Matter, whatever these uprising political groups. To pressure Harvard and to twisting their arms, and saying that
there's more to the story because it was really strange that Bacow stepped down. He wasn't on as president for Harvard for very long, because when I started Harvard, it was Faust, and then Bacow came on, and when I graduated from Harvard. Bacow was still president, but it was going to, it was going
to be Claudine Gay.
But it was going to be Claudine Gay.
Well, that's fast.
So, but the thing is why did Bacow? There's more of a story because Bacow was, he was very successful as the president of Tufts. He was he was ex-MIT and ex-Harvard. He wasn't there. Yeah. He wasn't there for that long. Why? Jewish guy, right? Why did he step down? Why? What? The rumor was that he was tired and he wanted to, enjoy his retirement and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I wonder if he was being told by one of the overseers, it's time to step down and we're going to, let Claudine in.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what happened. That they can say in a really nice way. They can say to what's Faust, that look, we're trying to change the philosophy of Harvard. We know that you're a great person. You're a great president. But times are changing. We need somebody who has a DEI background. DEI is now a dirty word now for me, okay? Anybody who says DEI, that means political agenda. But anyway, they probably tell him we need someone with a DEI background to really make our school more relevant, which I believe it's part of that is true. So they want a person who has a DEI background to be the president. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, the problem is Claudine Gay is not the right person. Even though she has DEI, a background and stuff, which yes, it's her coming on to Harvard with a DEI background as a black person, as a black female person, it does surface. It does make Harvard look a lot more relevant to reflect, the young people nowadays, the minorities, they're playing the race card. Harvard seems to be more attractive, not just an old, white people, institution. They want to make Harvard more diverse, and to be more diverse, it's just like, I don't know how you have noticed, but almost a lot of companies nowadays hire black people to be in the top position of the business nowadays, to have these prestigious schools to hire black,
Yeah, but the thing is most of the people that can afford
to make themselves more relevant.
Yeah, but the thing is that most of the people that can afford these places, they're not black. They're white. they're basically either coming from
mostly white, but there's some
WASPs. They're either WASPs,
yeah,
right? White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. They're either Jewish or or Asian. There's not that many black people that can afford a private school.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. These prestigious prep schools, they are changing too. They know that just being WASP, is not going to uphold their legacy. To be able for them to continue, they must play into the society of today. And therefore, it's what's in fashion. DEI is in fashion. And therefore, they have to be in line with what's relevant today. And so most of these schools, and they're all turning to be more liberal too. I mean, really, a liberal school, more on a conservative side, but still they are liberal. Okay, they are liberal, and a lot of these other prep schools, like Dawn and all that, they all have all updated their policy about gender equality and all that stuff. And you know why they've been pushed into this kind of situation? Instead of being totally independent, have their own DNA, have their own beliefs, and have their own, because they're a private institution, right? So they can basically do whatever the hell they want. But the problem is with the diversity, equity, and all that. Now everybody's going to play the race card, and they're going to sue Briley and say, look, you guys are prejudiced against, people of color. Your makeup of people of color is only 10%. Everyone else in your school is white. You're racist against the other candidate. So they all, because you know why? Because Mr. de Blasio sued independent schools before COVID happened. Yeah, so what happened was, these independent schools, they weren't playing into the DEI, ideology. They weren't. Until Mr. de Blasio, in the last year of his tenure, sued all the independent schools in Manhattan, Briley, Trinity, Collegiate, all these schools. And all these schools have to form an alliance, to counter-sue de Blasio and the Department of Education, because Department of Education wants to bring these independent schools into their own control. They want to be able to control these independent schools because these independent schools are not really playing the DEI game. And they want to force these, schools to play so because of that, so fortunately, because of COVID and all that shit going on, de Blasio and the Department of Education lost the lawsuit. And fortunately, these independent schools did not have to go under the control of Department of Education, because that would be a disaster. They would destroy. These Democrats wanted to destroy all these independent schools and just kill them and their lineage and their history. And you know what I'm saying, right? So they want to attack this institution, just like Harvard. So what happened after that is straight away, these, after they won the lawsuit, every single private school in Manhattan have to update their handbook, their policy to have DEI, to constantly saying DEI, and they have to change the admission process and all that, because they gotta boost up their DEI, proportion, the makeup of the school. Otherwise, they'd be sued again. So you see, it's a concerted, effort into bringing the old establishments, into the ground on the grounds of DEI, because it's just such an easy card to play. Just say all your schools are 90% white, you have no DEI, you're racist, school, and they would lose the lawsuit and they'd be punished. They might have to even close the school, so. Because of that, they have to force themselves, change their policy, and accept a lot more, color students. So right now at Berkeley, every year they will publish, their report saying how many students, of color, of white, and all that, and in there, and it's really kind of silly and sad, but that's really what happened. They're trying to use DEI. They weaponize DEI basically. So now every single school in independent, private school in Manhattan, after the lawsuit, they got so scared. They hire black, faculties and put them in really high positions in their school, like as a DEI officer or whatever, head of school or something like that. You understand what I mean? So I'm not surprised that Harvard is doing the same thing too, trying to hire, trying to be DEI, trying to be, quote unquote relevant, and having this Claudine Gay. She was at the right time at the right place. She was already dean of arts and science. She already had been at Harvard for a long time. She did, so. The question is, I don't think she's the only DEI candidate. It's just, why her? I mean, there must be some other very successful black academia or other black candidates. Why didn't they consider the other one? So if the congressional hearing comes down to investigation, they're going to look into, okay, show me your 600 candidates, and show me your investigation on them, and show me how you come to the conclusion that every single one of them is no good except, Claudine Gay. And if they find any discrepancy, I tell you, the Harvard Corporation will be fucked. And every single one of them have to be let go. If they found some, you understand what I mean?
No, I get it.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, she was at the right time, the right place, but then, and then now, they created a monster among themselves that they can't even denounce anti-Semitism because of DEI. They took it too far, and they took it in the wrong way. You think, regular, normal
I'm
people.
telling you, it's all about reparations. This thing's all about, it's a BLM movement disguised as equity, inclusion, and
they're weaponizing it, right? And if you don't bow down to the DEI, there's something wrong with you. You're racist. That's basically what Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did to the royal family. It's a race car. It's just simple as that. And it should show yourself that you're not. You hire a black president, or it's just.
Why did Obama and Obama's representative that's on the board of overseers?
Yeah.
Why did they cave in so fast?
I think something else is going on. I think there's something is going on. Something is going on.
I figured this thing would. I figured that she would be around 24 months, 36 months.
Well, I know about these audits much better than you. Dealing with regulators. When they say yes, there is no way you can say no. It's fucked up. That's why when I saw the testimony, I was like, this is fucked up. They're gonna get themselves so screwed, And for Claudine Gay to step down, what Harvard is doing right now to have her step down is they're hoping that the Congress will stop, because they know it's a can of worms. It's a fucking big can of worms. And you know what? Whoever is behind it is scared now. The vet, that person now, I tell you, if the Congress continue investigating at Harvard, more people will step down for that person, the real person behind all this. and it's going to go all the way up to Obama, it's not going to happen. I tell you.
I don't think we'd ever know because it's so private. It's so private and secretive. I mean, what's his name? Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah.
He said that one of the most secret societies there are is the Harvard Corporation.
Yeah, I believe him. I believe him. After I read the article, how do you justify 600 Africans in 5 So it's a can of worms, a lot of secrets, and people don't want to get hurt. So they want her to step down to send a signal to Congress that, you know what, if you continue to investigate, all of us will get burned. Even the American politicians, some of the politicians will get burned. And as well, and I tell you, who is weaponizing the DEI? It's the Democrats. It's the Democrats that's causing all these problems right now. Who started with this DEI, ideology? It was the Democrats. It wasn't the Republicans, and that's why the lady in the Congress, she's Republican.
It's all about setting up for reparations. What's Just break down the acronym. Diversity. That basically means minorities mixed with majority. Okay. Equity basically means.
I have no idea what it means. Don't ask me.
Well,
no, it means every single person has equal access to education or resources, basically. But most people don't even know how to explain it. If you ask any black people,
that it's a code word for equal outcomes, and then inclusion. That makes zero sense because inclusion, you would think, would be already in diversity. But I guess you could be.
No, inclusion means gender equality. Gender inclusion means it doesn't matter your background.
It seems inclusion is part of diversity. It's a subset of diversity. But I don't know. But it's definitely a new term. Instead of affirmative action, it's a little bit more expansive than affirmative action. And I think you're right that there is this agenda that's going on.
Oh yeah,
that is assaulting gender. People. This whole gender fluidity thing is destroying children.
Yes,
psychologically and physically if they decide to start going through transition.
Yes. And all the democratic states are doing this. They want to. I tell you, this is basically communism. They raise the young ones from very young about these ideas, and the parents cannot interfere. That's classic communism, Chinese communism. They denounce their parents. Their parents cannot tell their kids what to do. Their parents cannot tell the kids what is moral, what is not moral. No, they all have to hail to Mao Zedong. Your parents no longer the most important people in your life. It's Mao Zedong. Your parents you don't have to listen to your parents, and your parents have no control over you. That's communist. That's communism. And this equity thing, diversity thing, that all have the shades of communism in it. Yeah. And who is behind this? I tell you, Chinese people is behind. That's what a lot of the politicians are saying, that a lot of the problems in America right now. These kids, right? They watch TikTok. And and it's owned by China, right? So a lot of times they will push some of their agendas through these videos by making some of the videos very popular. So all the kids will watch it. It's a propaganda. So these kids now start to believe I want to be gender fluid so that it's fashionable. its relevance is fashionable. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer a, ethical question or moral question. It's a personal choice. So I want to be this. I want to be that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's this. And the government control you. No longer parents control you, have the right over you. It's the government. So Democrats are turning into, AOC. They're all leftist. They're all very leftist. They're all communist. And I think if they somehow
I'll tell you, if Trump gets into office, all these liberals' heads are going to blow up in real time. Just blow up.
That's why this big hoo-ha on Harvard is a Republican fighting back on the DEI, because now Claudine Gay stepped down. That's a win for the Republicans. That's a win for all these people who are anti-DEI. Look, first of all, there's nothing wrong with DEI. I think DEI is a nice philosophical idea, but it doesn't really happen like that. Societies all the societies make up are different. All the histories are different. And you can't just do DEI on every single fucking country. That's impossible, because DEI basically erases the identity of your country.
Right. That's why I said that it's an agenda that's against God, country, and family.
Right.
Totally.
So Democrats are weaponizing this. So today you see Claudine Gay step down. That's just one step towards fighting back DEI, because what they're trying to control us. I mean, DEI is fine, but they go out of their way. They want to control us. Then that's wrong. And Claudine Gay stepped down. I don't think it's a small step. I think it's actually a big win for the Republicans. And I can tell you, all the smart people at Harvard, I think they're secretly very happy about this, because why should I listen to someone who's dumber than me? So basically under DEI,
well, she was ruling through an iron fist.
Someone who is dumber than me, just because she's black, I have to call her my boss. What the hell is that? Right?
Well, you're seeing this a lot in corporate America, though. You see it in a lot where they're putting these directors of whatever in corporate America that are the bitch bots.
Yeah, but and they're just stooges. They're just there. They just put them there. Just to show. So it's so sick. I mean, this DEI is so sick. I mean, it's.
I think it's hurting America. It's definitely watering down.
A divisive country is
education.
Always. A divisive country is a win for, because communism, when they were fighting, Chinese communists, when they were fighting during the World War II with the Kuomintang, right? This is exactly the tactic they used to go against. So that's why all the farmers started believing this kind of dogma, and they all follow Mao Zedong, and a lot of them die believing what the Mao Zedong was saying, the propagandas and everything, and they all fucking die. But they won. Mao Zedong, in the end, he won with all these liberal slogans and stuff like that,
Socialistic slogans.
Yeah. Oh, the farmers should have more rights. The farmers should, And they're all stupid. They're uneducated. But today's a little bit different now. We're all educated. We're not uneducated. So they want to play this DEI thing. They're trying to play the race card to make you feel guilty. But then now everybody realize, even, I watch shows from UK because they talk a lot about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Are you a royal watcher?
No, because I think No. This is true. They are also using Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as a star of DEI. There are people supporting them. That's why they can,
Yeah, but they're the antithesis of that.
No. They're perfect. She's biracial. He's white, so they have diversity. They're married and they have diversity.
You can't get more privilege than being a prince of the UK. I mean, come on.
That is why Prince Harry broke away from royal family with Meghan Markle.
No. He broke away from the royal family because they were basically tightening the belt and saying that you can only live on $30 million.
Well, let me tell you something different, and this is kind of frightening. Do you know who is the biggest enemy of DEI? Do you know who they love to take down?
ExxonMobil?
The royal family, because the royal family stands the opposite of DEI. The royal family wants to preserve their bloodline, wants to preserve their culture. That is branded as racist, even though they're preserving their identity. That's exactly what I just told you before. DEI would erase the identity of your country. And who is representing the country is the fucking royal family. So who is the biggest enemy of DEI? It's the royal fucking family. But they didn't do that because they're racist. No, because if you look at the British Commonwealth, they have more than 50 members. Okay, so they're taking on British royal family because of DEI. They're weaponizing DEI, and they want to knock down because if they are able to knock down the British royal families, it's a huge win for DEI. You understand what I'm saying now? And this is all communist. They want to take down the establishment. Even though the establishment is...
Yeah, but the thing is that there's already
that's why they're using Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as the warriors against their own people. What's the most effective thing is have Prince Harry calling out his own family as racist. If you, DrPaulCottrell, come out and say, yeah, royal family is racist, it weighs so much less than if Prince Harry says royal family is racist, right? Which one hurts the royal family more? Prince Harry. Yeah, so they hire him. They're backing him and Meghan Markle to want to take down the royal family because they're the biggest number one enemy of DEI. You understand the whole, thing now? It's frightening. It's frightening. And, no Americans are talking about this, but the British people are talking about this a lot more, actually. Because the British people, actually in Britain, there's much less racism. Despite what Meghan Markle said and all that, no, Britain, because they come from the background of Commonwealth, there already has a lot of diversity in Britain. So it's wrong. It was totally wrong and misleading when they started calling royal family racist because they want to help the DEI. They're getting money from DEI. They have DEI supporters. So who are they going to listen to? They're going to listen to their new boss who's giving them money and propping them up as the poster child of DEI. And it's another classic communist example of you pointing at your own family, saying that you guys are all, guilty, right? It's a classic communist where you call your family out. When those young kids in China call their family out, say, "Oh, I know my father reads Western literature. Let's rat him out." And they beat him up on the street and the mother as well. it's a classic. It's sad. I think, and look at all these democratic states with the drug problems and everything. I don't know how can people still stand with the Democrats. Don't they see? I mean, I see all this, and I'm not white. I'm just, I don't know why people believe Democrats. I don't understand. I really don't.
Part of the reason is that there's an awful lot of people that go to college. Well, for the last at least 20 years, many people have been taught by a professor that is left wing.
Really?
Oh, I mean, majority of the professors out there, no matter what the school is majority are liberals or ultra liberals. So it's hard to find a conservative person. Now, so majority of these students that are coming out of school, majority of these students that are coming out of these schools are liberals, and so they're gonna vote accordingly. Now, there are states that are red states, right? They're typically Republican states, but they're getting infiltrated by people leaving California or leaving New York and ending up creating bases within a red state and turning them, bluish states. And so there's this country slowly moving towards just voting in Democrats. Then you have this immigration policy that's run away. They'll eventually create more individuals to vote for Democratic policies because they're going to be giving out, special bennies to make sure that they get those votes. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. This country is losing its way, and it's because it's losing its foundation on religion, family, and country. It's almost like we're becoming apologetic. You have to say sorry that that someone thinks that people should have families. The society that we're living in now, you have to say sorry if you have some sort of religious component to your life.
Yeah, you have to be sorry just because you're white.
Yeah, you have to say sorry because you say the Pledge of Allegiance. Right, exactly. This country has become apologetic. The bottom line is people need to stand up and just say no more of this crap. And I think this is what's happening within the student body at Harvard. It's a microcosm of the country at large, and that is more people are starting to wake up and they're agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
they took it too far.
And it's gone too far, and now this pendulum is going to swing back to conservatism. But there's going to be a battle as this is happening. The liberals are not going to like it. The thing is, when in the 80s, there were some people that were homosexual that you knew in your own circle, or people that maybe have been in your school or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And at that time, they just wanted to be considered equal, or just not be
bothered
and put down, and right.
Yeah.
You take it from the 80s to now. Now what it is that not only do they want to be accepted, they want to be put on a pedestal, and they want to be flamboyant about it, and then project it on kids. It's gone way. This homosexuality thing has gone way too far. Way too far. They're indoctrinating kids now.
Right.
It's just it's just gone too far. So now conservatives need to push back. The thing is that late-term abortions are wrong. At-birth abortions are wrong. So when your foundation is killing children, destroying family units, destroying country history, and and opening up borders and destroying the currency. It's just.
You know what? You know what? I understand where the Republicans are coming from about the abortion and stuff like that. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something. It's backfiring hugely.
On the Republicans or on the...
On the Republicans themselves. They're not going to be able to win. If they just lay down, put it in the back burner about the abortion shit and all that stuff, it just don't talk about it for a while. They can win the election next this year. Because nobody, half the country is female. You basically just pissed off half of the country.
Yeah, but the thing is, these females...
Yeah, maybe there are women who also believe the same thing, but they're very rare because nowadays technology have advanced and a lot of people, everybody is educated. Most people are educated. You're talking about out of the 100% of females, you may be only talking about 15% of them that will agree with you. Yeah, you see protests on the street, but it's always the same people that protest. It's not none of those females who come out to say anti-abortion are new. They just travel in the country and doing the same people are protesting, and it's not you're going against. It's just, whoever I'm telling you, as a strategy, it looks terribly for Republicans. And they're going to lose over this. They will lose over it because Democrat states, they're going to push. It's just too far away from, you
so
want to
come back to women are willing to destroy the country. Women are willing to destroy the country to have late-term abortions.
Nobody's doing that. What's the percentage of women who are doing that? That's wrong. Give me the statistics.
Well, I would agree with you. It's wrong, but why is it in law?
It doesn't matter. You're going for election. People who, whatever happens.
It's a slippery slope tactic.
Look, DEI is a much bigger weapon. It's a nuclear weapon against stupid freaking late term. That's such a small thing that doesn't even happen. It's not a very common thing, and nobody's killing babies at late terms. I mean, whoever told you that is not being scientific. Okay.
I would say most abortions. If you look at
the statistics,
I would say that statistically, most abortions are in the first trimester.
If you want to fight back on DEI, something's got to go. DEI is doing much better, and they're a nuclear weapon. You have absolutely no chance if you bring out this kind of silly abortion stuff because the statistics are so low. You can't prove that. You just can't. There's still a lot more women giving birth than women who are doing whatever you're saying. And the statistics don't add up, honey. So you can't really use that as your main policy. You can't really do that as your main policy. Yeah, even though you won a Supreme Court, but that's only because it was decided among 9 people. It's a small number of people. It's a win for Republicans, but the majority of America, don't agree with that. The majority, did they win the court of public opinion? No. It is going to be the court of public opinion that's going to matter more than that little tiny statistics. That's what you're saying. And the DEI is still the nuclear weapon. So you're not going to be, unless you can look. If Congress and the Republicans, are continue investigation on Harvard, and really come down really hard on Harvard, and then weed out a lot more scandals and stuff like that, and expose the fallacy of DEI through Harvard. Because are you gonna do let's say Queen's College, or as an example of the fallacy of DEI. No, you're gonna take the biggest one. You're gonna take Harvard. Then you have another nuclear weapon to go against DEI. That this whole thing is fake. That this whole thing is it's not DEI. It's actually the opposite of DEI. It's actually, what's the word? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like reverse racism. It's like reverse racism that you Claudine Gay is not really. Would you consider her a real black? Considering her culture and her background. She went to Exeter. She went to Princeton, Stanford, and Harvard. I mean, how many black?
She's a polished black woman. She's a polished black woman that rose up because of affirmative action.
Right. So exactly. So if they take on Harvard and really give it to Harvard and find out all this stuff. For example, if they found that out of the 500 or 600 applicants, there are other better applicants, but they gave preference to her just because she's black, Harvard is fucked. And I'm going to tell. Let's ask this question: if Harvard is doing this, how many other companies, corporations, and schools are doing this? I bet you 85% of them. Because now they're all so afraid of being called racist and the race card. They'd rather just put some stupid black woman up there just so they can say they are diverse. And everybody's doing this. And that's the fallacy. That's stupid. That's not really, that's fake. That's not what it really is. So they're going to come down really hard on Harvard. And if they're going to expose some of the things about Harvard, I tell you, Harvard is torpedoed. As well as the Democrats. Those who are pushing for DEI in school, they're going to take a big hit. They may not die. They're not going to die, but they will take a big hit. People are going to start questioning, every single school. Like, so you hire her, is it because of affirmative action? She's not really a good quality, but just because she's black, so she got the job? It's the same question they were asking in the 70s or in the 80s, just because she's, this guy is black, so he's not being hired. Or the same thing is happening to the white people. The white people had to fight back, unfortunately.
I think that's what's happening. But it's beyond it's beyond DEI. It's all about God, country, and God, country, and family. It's not just it's bigger. That's why I said that it's also related to abortion. It's when I say family unit, I mean the typical family unit. So that's a destruction. This is the regendering of society, and increased abortions in the society, promoting that males are bad and all this.
The statistics are too low to be able to really show that. I'm sorry. You gotta have statistics to back it up. That woman I killed. No, there are more pedophiles. There are more pedophiles. There are more pedos. There are more pedos than whatever you're talking about. This abortion thing. There are more pedos than this abortion thing. And who are the pedos? The Democrats. Clinton, Obama, and all that shit. That's why they're releasing the list today. Because how many of them are Democrats? How many of them are, then their reputation, that they're fake. They're not real. The preach one, they might be a great. Look, back in the olden days, when you read about Benjamin Franklin's biography, I read 2 chapters and I was like, you know what? I don't want to read this anymore. He's a fucking womanizer. But he's also a great statesman. He's smart and he's very, he knows that he walked the walk, talks the talk. And back then, nobody's going to care much about he's the womanizer or not, because women did really like him. He wasn't like raping women or anything. It just, he had a lot of female admirers because he's so smart. And he talks so well. So a lot of women were actually admire him and stuff. But today's world is different. Just because you're like Obama or Clinton, you talk the talk, walk the walk, you're, charming and all that. No, but doesn't give you the license to fuck around. You just can't do that. Today's politician is such that your personal life goes along with it. Back then, the Washington, the Lincoln, whatever it is, all their dirty laundries, no, they're out there. That has no effect on their political life. But today is different. So if this list comes out, I think it's geared towards the Democrats.
Probably. I mean, and probably also tycoons, business tycoons.
Yeah, who are the most probably supporters of Democrats.
Well, I mean, they support whoever will help them in whatever position they are. If they make money on being a woke person, then they'll be a woke person. If they make money on being a conservative, they'll be a conservative person. It's all pragmatism. It has nothing to do with about really ideology. True ideology, what they really believe. It's how can they make money? But I think a big part of DEI is the destruction of the family unit. And there's subsets to destruction of the family unit. Demonizing males, demonizing the idea of straight relationships, demonizing people that have children, the promotion of abortion. These are all subsets of a larger picture of the destruction of the family unit.
Well, I'd like to see how this is going to play out. I mean, this Claudine Gay thing, it's just, I knew she had to go.
Well, we all knew that she had to go. The question was how she was going to go, and would it be that fast? I'm a little bit surprised that it went this quick. I figured that she might have.
Shit is coming.
I think you're right. I think that they're waiving that. Congress is waiving that tax exemption status of the corporation in their face, and they're scared of it. I think they're scared of that than anything else. Because if they do that, they have to increase they probably have to increase the portfolio performance by at least 200, maybe 300 basis points.
Yes, it would be about. In the end of the day, you know how the regulators, when they do their thing, right? If they find that you made a mistake, and a huge mistake, and about it, but you still do it. Yes, they will give you some sort of penalty, either in the form of taxation, or they calculate it by how much financial crime you've done. And let's say if they accept donations from some Russian czar who is on the blacklist and they didn't follow, because a lot of these nonprofit organizations, their finances are all they can't stand. If you put a flashlight on their financial statement, it's gonna burn. They can't stand up to any sort of regulatory, examinations, because I know how they do it. So if it's in the form of taxation and all that, I tell you, that is the easy way out. I've been in a bank. I deal with the regulator. Sometimes they say, okay, we're going to fine you this much money. You see how they fine Credit Suisse or UBS or Citibank or Chase Manhattan, some sort of, they always make some mistake, okay? Some mistakes are always will be made because it's such a large institution. They'll find these banks $500 million or something like that, and then I tell you, that's a small price to pay, because if they say they're going to start saying, okay, now you're going to do this, that's even worse, because now they're going to start controlling you and telling the bank what to do, and they don't want to do that. They'd rather pay than having a fucking, a government, sitting in their office. And that's going to be what happened with Harvard. I tell you, pay up is the easy way out.
Probably. But wait, hold on. I want to play something for you and listen to this. This is about the Harvard president resigning, and it's CNN Central News interviewing, I think, a Harvard professor.
Okay.
All right, so let's listen.
What's the
We're
name?
Just getting a statement now from New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who was at that hearing on Capitol Hill about anti-Semitism on campus and pressed those three presidents, including Claudine Gay. She says, "I will always deliver results." She calls Gay's resignation long overdue. She says that she was devoid of the moral leadership and academic integrity required of the president of Harvard. What's your reaction to today's resignation and these comments coming from the Congresswoman?
Look, I think Elise Stefanik should be ashamed of herself, because I don't think she actually cares about any of these things that she talked about on Capitol Hill. I don't think she cares about anti-Semitism.
His name is Professor Ryan Enos.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't have him as a professor.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I don't know who he is.
I don't think she cares about I don't think she cares about academic freedom. I don't think she cares about any of these things that she pressed on. She cared about winning political points. And I think that political attacks on universities are things that we should all be frightened by, regardless of our politics, whether we're on the left or the right. And I'm sad for American universities because of that. And I'm sad for Claudine.
He's a Claudine Gay supporter. That's what this is turning out on CNN.
I think she was a capable leader that was facing an extremely difficult situation, and people like Elise Stefanik were not helping it at all.
Professor, let's say even if everything that you said is true, potentially true here, when you look at the writings, and I mean, is that something you would have done in the way you write? Would you do what Claudine Gay would have done and expect to keep your job? Because that is also another element here.
You're talking about the allegations of plagiarism?
It's not an allegation.
Right? You've compared, I'm sure, as you've gone through the writing here, to, and maybe it isn't stealing research, which would be a huge crime in academia, of course, but in terms of writing an essay, this is nothing that you would accept from a college student, for instance. They know not to do this, so that's what I'm asking about.
If a college student did that, what I would expect is I would expect a careful and deliberate hearing to understand whether they violated rules. And I think if I saw that, I'd be concerned, and I would bring it up at Harvard, for example, to a academic board that would determine whether or not they violated the rules. What happened to Claudine Gay was not that. What happened to Claudine Gay was mob pressure to force her to resign. So even if what she did was something that should have led to her termination, we never got to that point. We got to the point where people were yelling at her on social media and subjecting her to attacks that she didn't deserve. And rather than having a careful deliberation, which is what we do at a university, we had her subject to a mob to force her resignation.
Well, where was the careful deliberation? Where was here's the problem with that damn...
Get ready to ring in the new year.
The problem with that clip from CNN, where was the careful deliberation when she was getting her Ph.D.?
Well, you see, that's where... If
the content expert should have known better that she was misappropriating her research.
They knew about her pleasure back in October. They knew. But she didn't say anything. Nobody said anything. Everybody's covering for her.
That's a good point, too. But I'm talking about going all the way back to 1997. There wasn't careful deliberation when she was even going through the process to become a Ph.D. But
maybe back then it was,
The problem is that CNN pulled someone that was a supporter of her. What they need to do is put two people up there, and that one against her and one for her, to be fair.
Well, you see, the thing is, CNN is doing a show, okay? CNN is not a true think of CNN as some sort of entertainment business, okay?
It's in sort of a way, it's become Jerry Springer.
Yeah. So they want to bring someone controversial in to support her so that, it's more shocking. Because most people don't support her. Let's just face it, right? You did your Ph.D. If you found your friend plagiarized and still kept his PhD, are you going to be happy about it?
No.
You're not going to be happy about it, right? So they want to find someone shocking, like who would support her, even with plagiarism. Basically he's saying that what he's saying is that she's a great leader, and just because she plagiarized doesn't negate, the things that she's done, the good things that she's done. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, I don't know what she's done. The most famous thing she's done was, in Congress, being very arrogant. I see a very arrogant, elite black woman. When I saw her for the first time on TV, I said, she fucked. Because you never... Look, it's really not about Harvard or her. It's about... I'm going to tell you, the power of Congress. They don't give a shit about you or Harvard, your Queen Elizabeth, or shit like that, or Prince Harry. The power of Congress is such that they must maintain their power. If they target Claudine Gay, there is no way she would not step down. That's why I told you she's going to step down like next week, or she stepped down now. I'm not surprised. Congress, maybe, I don't know. You in politics, you should know the power of Congress is such that it's almost dictatorship. They want you down, you have to be down. You see, Harvard and Claudine Gay did not get this because they've been, hiding in the background, doing their own shitty things, for centuries. They never, and the government is always, do you really think the government doesn't know all the shit that's going on in Harvard? They know. It's just whether or not when is a good time to pick them. And they decided now is a good time because it's the election year. And you know what? There is no way Harvard is going to get away with it. They will investigate. They got Claudine Gay. You think they're going to stop there? No. So for CNN, they want, I think the core of public opinion is such that she must step down. She should step down. Anybody who's educated or maybe most black people would say, oh no, she should not step down, but she's being targeted, she's unfairly treated. She just plagiarized, because all the black people plagiarize, right? Because they don't do very well academically, so they have to copy from someone else's, right? So maybe all the black people would support her, but all the educated one, like the one that just being interviewed that you just had me heard, right? They want to pull a white person who supports her. And that would be the shock value. Because CNN, most people watch CNN are not black people. Black people black people. It's mostly white people or people like me, So this coming from a Harvard professor saying that he support her, it's just the shock value. It's just the news, but I don't think that represents the entire, I think most of the Harvard.
I mean, because I'm not, I'm away from that now, because I don't take classes there anymore. Right. So I don't have a pulse. But my gut feeling,
how the students feel,
how the students feel, or how the professors really are. What I can say is my experience when I was there, and I'll tell you, the majority of the professors were left-wing nuts.
Really?
Majority of them.
Well, that's what she's talking about then. We've got to get the rot out of the top elite American universities. We're going to rat all these because this is exactly what a communist does. They infiltrate the education system. Chinese communists also try to infiltrate Taiwanese education system. You know that? So education, they're weaponizing education to teach more people to be more like them, so they can keep winning the election. It's basic. School has become not a neutral ground, but a battleground. You want to get more liberal professors, into universities. Traditional professors, seem like old dinosaurs. You understand what I mean? And the basic sense of just reasoning is out of the door. How can you say someone plagiarized? It's okay to stay on the job. It's like saying you cheated on your medical exam, but it's still okay. That's okay because you're black. That's just,
I don't think in the real world that would ever happen. But the thing is that there's subjectivity in the process of her elevating to the presidentship at Harvard.
Right.
The presidency of Harvard, and because of that subjectivity, you can play these woke games. I'll tell you, it's not just Harvard though. The whole educational system is this way.
Right.
They're producing kids and professors that are just ultra liberal. Yeah. And it's not because they're ultra liberals are more intelligent or more educated. What it is that they're indoctrinated in a certain thought process that is antithetical to God, country, and family. They are against traditional values. They're totally and the thing is, these social countries, they don't last. They don't last long term. No. They all have problems. They end up going into some sort of, political crisis, an economic crisis. They're not stable.
Look at China.
They're not stable. And I'll tell you, spending time in Boston, there's an awful lot of Bernie supporter types and, Jill supporters. Jill Stein or whatever her name is.
What's that? Jill supporters?
Jill. Isn't it Jill Stein or?
You mean Joe Biden?
No. Jill Stein. I thought Jill Stein was a independent or a Green Party. Oh.
Okay.
Jill Stein. Yeah, American. Yeah, she was not a Green Party. So they're Bernie Sanders supporters, Jill Stein supporters, and Pocahontas supporters. Whatever her name is, I can't remember her name. But that's the problem. That's the problem. They support crazy people.
That's why I'm telling you, they're going to start investigation on the Harvard Corporation. Every single fucking one of them will be investigating who signed off on this, who signed off on Claudine Gay. I tell you, public opinion, like the professor that you just told me, that's a public opinion. But if the law says that you can't plagiarize, that's criminal. You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't matter what your opinion is. What the law says is going to be what the law says. Did you accept? That's what one of the congresswomen were asking. MIT. UPenn. How much money did you receive from Qatar? Qatar is a country that oppress on women. They have a lot of human rights problems. Qatar, right?
Right.
They were asking at their face, outright, in the public, at the congressional hearing, public hearing, how much money have you received from Qatar? I was like, oh. They're going in for financial crime, and they will catch something. They catch something. This is how, you see this, I don't know how the regulator is going to manifest this. They can give you a slap on the wrist saying, okay, you have to pay $300 million because of the financial mistake you made. Okay. That's nice. That's okay. That is the best thing that could happen. If they want to go further and say, okay, all of you have to step down. There's going to be a huge change. Remember, Congress already was asking Claudine Gay to step down. They were already telling Harvard that they need to fire Claudine Gay. They were not like asking, oh, Harvard, you should reconsider Claudine Gay. Claudine Gay, you might want to consider it. No, they were already saying in that hearing that you must step down. You must resign now. Because of the so I'm going to tell you again, when they come in to investigate, I don't know how. I think it's going to be a big slap. If they really want to go for the huge political effect, it's going to be a huge slap on their face. They're going to say Harvard received money from communist China. Oh my God! I tell you, where is the integrity? The Harvard integrity being infiltrated by our enemy, Russia, communist China. I tell you, if you look at the chimney in Harvard right now, you're gonna see a lot of black smoke tonight. Tonight, you're gonna see a lot of black smokes go out of their chimney because they're burning all the documents that they can't show to. No, seriously. When this is true, I'm going to tell a true story. When Trump, remember Trump? He closed down the Chinese embassy in Phoenix. You don't remember that? There was a Chinese embassy in Phoenix, and they were accusing them of spying and stealing technology and sensitive to, because Phoenix is a huge technology, town, right? All the high tech, and they're saying that, so Trump told them, you're going to evacuate in like 2 or 3 days or something. And during those 3 days, seriously, they see so much smoke, burning papers out of the chimney. It's so funny, you can't shred it, because you shred it, it can still piece it together. You have to fucking burn it, that. And then they call Chase, and then, so who is Harvard's financial institution? Is it Chase? Is it UBS?
Well, I'm sure they have multiple banks.
Whatever it is.
I'm sure they have multiple banks.
Okay, show me your statement. And UBS, you show me your statement. And they're going to match. All they have to do is what every elementary school student knows how to do, matching. Does this match with this? They found discrepancy. Okay, explain why. How happened this $200 million? Why is it not in your statement, but in the UBS statement? Oh, you're screwed. Explain. So you have spies in Harvard. You were going against the American government. Did they want to go? Yeah, they can go that far. They caught Lieber. Why is Harvard allowing this? Do you really think Harvard doesn't know? Do you really fucking think Harvard doesn't know what fucking Lieber is doing? Well, maybe Chinese government pay $1 billion to Harvard. And Harvard is like, oh, okay, just as long as it's not being exposed, just do whatever the hell you guys want to do. Treason. Spy. Allowing spies. I tell you that maybe the name of Harvard could be saved, but if they see something, they can call it whatever. They see this money, they can, you treat, right? American government, you know how they are. They really want to target you, just like how they target Oppenheimer, calling him a communist. They're gonna pull every single stops and tricks and all that, and make you seem like whatever they want people to believe you are. And when Harvard is crawling on the floor, crying and kissing their feet, it might be too late. Because the agenda here is not about bringing down Harvard. The agenda here is bringing down the DEI. So if they really want to go for that angle, all they have to do is show, fallacy. Like, you guys are so fake. You preach DEI, but then you took money from Communist China, from Russian government, from all these terrorist, maybe even terrorist organizations. Why not? Osama bin Laden is from a very rich family. Even though he's dead, but he still wants his 30 kids to go to Harvard, right? Why not? So maybe they have students of terrorism. That's why when this thing happened, all these terrorists, come out and protest in Harvard. And maybe Harvard knew that some of the students have terrorist backgrounds. But because they come with a lot of money, they're like, okay, as long as you guys don't cause any trouble. Do you know why I know this? Because, Chinese Communist is the fakest, is the stupidest organization in the world. They take all the money, they abuse their own people, but then you know what? They send their wives and kids to America. And they buy American houses. You know this. You know about this, right? A lot of generals, even top communist officials, they all have assets. They all have secret American accounts in America. Do you think they'll be so stupid to keep all their shit in China and get wiped out by the Of course, they also know that. They're lying to their own people, and they know, to go to America. So they found. So there's so many. I go to this Chinese restaurant downstairs from me, and this waitress, she said she used to, waitress at Yale University at a Chinese restaurant. She says, "Oh my God, these." Students, they're all sons and daughters of the Chinese Communist officials. They all drive, Porsche, Ferrari. They all drive these sports cars and stuff, and they all go into Yale. You want to talk about this? Maybe, is Harvard not doing the same thing? They're doing the same shit. They're doing the same shit. So having these sons and daughters of your enemies learning at your top university, learning secrets, maybe spying, and you're allowing this to happen. You're gonna pretend you don't know. That's not gonna fly. I'm sorry, that is not gonna fly. So I tell you but they're not gonna target these communists or Dr. Lieber. No, they're gonna target the Harvard Corporation. They're going to say, you guys fucked up so much, and you know it, just like Dr. Claudine Gay is plagiarized back in October. You all knew about it, and you let it go. So what is the penalty for that? I think first of all, they might put some people in jail. Okay, if they receive terrorist money, and they did not declare it, they could. That's criminal, right? In the banking world, if you receive terrorist money, the branch manager could be sent to jail, right? I know that is a financial crime. I know that's criminal.
I just think that
you will be sent to jail.
I just think that there's just a bigger thing going on, because it's not just Harvard. Just the whole ultra-liberal agenda is cracking. Like, let me give you an example.
What do you mean?
Let me give you an example. Apple, right? Stock. Yeah. They lost $110 billion market cap today. Major downgrade that has investors worried about slowing iPhone sales. Okay. So I'm just saying. But the thing is Apple has been promoting this gay agenda.
Yes.
this LGBTQRS, whatever.
Yeah. Let me think.
I just think that the whole ultra-liberal agenda is cracking.
Well, there is one thing that could explain the downgrade, though, because, they're losing the Chinese market. Not because they lose it, it's because Chinese economy is so bad. So you're losing about at least 1 billion customers.
Yeah, but the thing is they placated to... Yeah, but take it one step further. They placated to the Communist Party.
Yeah.
To the point where when the Communist Party starts to falter, their company starts to falter.
Well, same goes for Elon Musk. His Tesla... I mean, did you hear about that news where, of course they don't talk about it in America, but just last week, right, they sent 600 Tesla from Shanghai to Australia. While the cars are still in cargo, to be examined, they found bed bugs.
Are you serious?
I am not fucking kidding with you. You can look it up, okay? They returned the whole cargo, untouched, back to Shanghai. I tell you, it's the Chinese manufacturing environment has become so bad. People are starving. People are just, it's very low quality. The work quality is very low. You understand what I mean? That's why you have these, and the Chinese inspection is a joke. That you call them, the manufacturer of the world and all that. But if you really look at it closely, there's so much corruption. It's not like it's not like America. It's not like a real system. It's that you buy this Secretary of State, the Secretary of the province, or the governor of the province, right? And then you say, I'm gonna have this shipment. You're gonna let me go. Thank you very much, and I pay you this much money. That's how it works. Do they really inspect it? I'm not sure. So anybody who is tied into China right now they're all going down. Taiwan, the Taiwanese manufacturing, during the past 3 years, they have already moved out at least 75% of their manufacturing out of Taiwan, and but I don't know. I don't know if this is a political agenda against Apple because of what they are. Look, don't you think it's a fucked up thing? You preach about DEI, and then you manufacture in China where human rights record is the lowest.
I'm just saying, it's the whole.
Fucking,
I'm telling you, the whole
capitalism.
agenda, the liberal agenda, is built on on sand. There's no real foundation.
That's true. That's true. I agree with that.
It's about time that you started agreeing with me.
What?
It's about time that you started agreeing with me.
No, I agree with you on many things. There's some things I don't agree with you about. But I can tell you this one thing, okay? The problem with China is the fact that they know they're not doing well. They know they're going down the drain. They're really going to hell. But they're following Mao Zedong, so they don't care about economy. They don't care about foreign. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about. They only care about their agenda. Because this Xi Jinping, he's kind of cuckoo and he's stupid. So he's driving away all the foreign investments. All the foreign investments are gone. They're all turning to Taiwan or Europe or back to America. So you know what? This adjustment with Apple, the price adjustment with Apple, I think it's actually a correction. I don't think I think it was probably inflated before. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because everybody knows that China is, especially with the COVID and everything, and the economy is so bad. I knew about this last year. And last year, you know, the old professor, the Taiwanese professor that he already predicted about this 3 years ago. He already gave warnings about the state of China. Because he's the expert. He knows about Xi Jinping. He knows what he's thinking. So he already told all the Taiwanese, business that start evacuating. You gotta start evacuating. So slowly during the last 3 years, people start evacuating, and it was the right move. Otherwise, you're going down with China right now. But I thought this correction might have gone a little bit too far.
I just think this is going to lead into World War III, because they're going to accelerate trying to take Taiwan.
Okay. I mean, everybody's thinking about it. Well, I can tell you what happened was this is true story, and I just heard it yesterday. The most updated situation with the Chinese defense. Okay, their military is such a joke. He fired 12 generals or killed them or something. 12 generals from the missiles department, or I don't know how they call it. The missiles department. They have a special department called the missiles department, where, which is a vital unit to take over Taiwan, because you need the missiles, right? Okay, so because Xi Jinping is so he doesn't believe anybody, and he's so what's the word, anal. Okay, so he found out that these 12, and these, I'm not talking about like little, I'm talking about the top general. He took out from number 1 to number 12, the missiles department. So basically the whole department is wiped out. So because you know what he found on the grounds, that they're treason, spy, and because they send their wife and their child to America, and they have American account. I'm not kidding with you. This is real.